I move 5. Do I have to move the others as well?
No, we'll move them when we come to them.
Okay. Now, as we discussed in the last group of amendments, we're very happy to have arrangements with not-for-profit organisations, but where our concerns, and they're not just ideological concerns, as the Minister regularly trots out, they're concerns based on experience around what the private investors want out of property and housing, and what that does, what their objectives do to the housing sector, to prices, to rents, and the need to make sure that in an affordable housing bill, of all places, we do everything to make sure that those dynamics of profit-seeking do not end up making affordable housing unaffordable, or in any other way, messing up the objective of delivering that affordable housing. And therefore, what this set of amendments relate to is the provisions in this bill to allow for public-private partnerships. And of course, this is where the danger does lie. And to be honest, for anybody to say that's just ideological, it would be utterly dishonest. So I just hope the Minister isn't going to go on about that now again and say, oh, it's just because you're ideologically. PPPs have proven consistently to be more expensive and to be less reliable in terms of the delivery of social housing or affordable housing. That's the reality, okay? Why? Because the private part of the partnership is in the deal to make money. They do not have the same objectives that we have to simply deliver housing that is affordable. They invest in order to make money. They don't invest in a project unless they are going to get their pound of flesh, and critically, they often don't continue in a project if at any point in the process they decide they're not going to make the money they originally thought they were going to make. And furthermore, there's no transparency around public-private partnerships because it's all shrouded in commercial sensitivity. Once you get a PPP, transparency, accountability about the expenditure of public money goes out the window because commercial sensitivity issues kick in. So we believe that PPPs have absolutely no place in the delivery of affordable housing, and these amendments seek to delete those references to public-private partnerships because we want to exclude the failed model of public-private partnership from a bill that's supposed to be about delivering affordable housing. And I would say to the Minister that when you look at things like, let's remember back to the developments on Dominic Street, where finally we're starting to get something now. That was because a public-private partnership showed the weaknesses that are inherent in those PPPs. Because a certain developer just decided at a certain point, we're not going to proceed with this. And the plans go out the window. And we don't get anything. And Dominic Street is left there, a disgraceful sort of dereliction for, what is it, 20 years? As a result of this failed model of PPP. So we are not in favour of repeating it, and of course I've seen many other examples of this, smaller versions and so on. And I want to say, because I might anticipate certain criticisms that occasionally come from Deputy McGrath or Deputy Collins and so on, that this means we have no role for small private contractor or whatever. That's not what we're saying in these amendments. I want to stress that, right? Very often, public housing has been delivered by the local authority saying, we want to build a public housing development of 200 houses, and that is contracted out to a private developer. I would prefer, frankly, a state construction company and people directly employed by the local authorities, but I understand that short of that, often it is about contracting out to private builders, local builders, or whatever. But what doesn't happen in those traditional examples of delivering public housing, what doesn't happen is that the private builder dictates anything to do with the price of the dwelling, the rents in the dwelling, or involve some arrangement where public money is being spent for 20, 25, 30 years, whatever the arrangement is, that you're paying out huge amounts of public money, paying over the odds for delivering the housing. It's just a straightforward deal. You pay them this much, they build the houses. That's a different thing. So that's not what we're saying here. But PPPs are a failed model. They are more expensive, they are less reliable, and there is less transparency, and they infect the objective of delivering affordable housing with the priorities of making profits of private investors. And, you know, let's not have more of the stuff we had debated last night, that once again, when it should be about delivering affordability for people, we have to sneak in through the back door the interests that just want to make money. And that's what it's here. There's no purpose in it. There's no benefit for it. They can't deliver finance any cheaper than anybody else. We can do that better than they can. There is simply no justification for PPPs in an affordable housing bill.
Deputy Boyd Barrett, Deputy Owner.